Monday morning was, I mean, an unprecedented standoff. I don't know whether this incident has ever happened in the Gambia. It became a controversy when the Information Minister, Dr. Ceesay, said he initially accepted it, and now he declined. So now the issue is, gentlemen, let me start with Mo Thomas. What is your take on this standoff on Monday morning?
Thank you for having me, and thank you, Mr. Njie, for joining this panel. First of all, I think we need to familiarize ourselves with what is the role of this Auditor General, because most people, and that's one thing about the Gambia, most people doesn't even know what his role is, and he has a very vital role in the governance of the country, because the Auditor General, I mean, he's the head of the NAO, the National Audit Office of the Gambia, which was granted autonomous status by the National Assembly in 2015. So this is a legal office that the president just cannot ping-pong with. That's number one. I don't know who's advising him on what he did. Even when we have what we refer to as a dictator president, Jammeh, I stand to be corrected. I've never seen Jammeh use the police to go and remove somebody just because they refuse to accept his nomination for a ministerial position. I've never seen it. And this is uncalled for. When Gambia was at a turning point, we're thinking that we've passed that. Democracy is not perfect, but this was uncalled for. If you appoint somebody and they refuse to take it, I mean, that's their own prerogative. That's their privileged right for them to accept or not to accept. Because, his role is very vital. I mean, this role is independent. It is totally independent. The Auditor General reports on all accounts on local government areas, state-owned enterprises, the courts and everything, and they have total independence without being controlled. So to remove that person forcefully, there's something behind it. And the issue is surrounding Mr. Ceesay. But I have tangible evidence, which I'm saying here on the record. There's almost close to $1 billion money involved. And the president's name is there, and his son known as Baba Barrow. And this was sent to the Auditor General's office. So I don't know if that plays a role or there are other implicating factors why, but eventually everything will come out. That's where I will stand for now and let my other colleague come in.
All right, Lamin, what do you make of it?
Thank you. It was another rowdy day in Banjul. I followed the events as they happened, as they unfolded. And I'm going to be the devil's advocate here. I think this situation, as unfortunate as it is, I think the office of the department of audit, or the National Audit Office, if you like. This is a government department, one of the most important government departments. And I think the role of a government department, they complement each other. I think that is what the number one key issue that all of us need to pay attention to, is the fact that this is a government department. So, and I see the way and manner in which a lot of people are pushing or spreading the narrative that this is an institution fighting or an institution against the government. No, this is an institution that is part of a government. And I think the role of the National Audit Office is to complement government. It is not necessarily to find fault, right? So, and I think we have to be careful in how we spread the narrative that this is against an institution or a department against the government. I think the answer that we need to understand and settle the fact that this is a government institution. It is there to complement government, to support government in making governance better, instead of an institution that is there to just go against a government. I don't think that narrative is correct. But yes, of course, when it comes to the issue of removing him from office forcefully, if you like. I think that was a bit unfortunate. I think the government fumbled that part, right? And there is a lot of speculation, a lot of narratives that are being pushed, peddled out there, sponsored, that the reason for why this is happening is because there is wrongdoing that the government is trying to protect. Yeah, exactly. So, which I think would be a little extreme for me. As at now, I know it's a lot of problems that the government has in terms of corruption, in terms of investigations that are coming and the probes that are coming from the National Audit Office. But in essence, it wouldn't make any sense in this whole development to have the president pinpoint somebody to say, I am elevating you to this position, when he really has an agenda of trying to hide something. I think for me, that would be a little extreme for now.
Okay. Now, Lamin, before I move to more Thomas, you said there is no way the NAO, that's the National Audit Office, is part of the government, so it's not outside the government. But remember, audit, you can offer somebody an offer employment only for you to realize that the guy is not going to be looking into your face to, kowtow to your demands, because audit is something that is different from any other job. So yes, it's part of the government, but in my opinion, I think an auditor general can also be someone who would not be someone who has should be someone who has high integrity, impeccable character, and to some extent, he can even be a thorn in the flesh of the system that created it. This is not
absolutely
not under the whims of the president to say that, okay, you do this, you do that. The auditor is independent. So I think in perspective, what we're trying to say here is that what is the reason, what is the motive behind the auditor general being hired or being promoted to ministerial position? Okay, the Minister of Information, Dr. Ismail Ceesay, said he initially accepted, but only to decline. Earlier on Monday, we saw post from the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Demba Sabali. I don't know whether he was making fun of it, that UDP were suspect in this. They whispered to him to decline it. So, Montomos, what is your take on this saga?
Well, I mean, I heard that's the beauty of democracy, to agree and to disagree in a very mature and constructive way. But I don't see any narrative that you should play even the devil's advocate here. The writings are on the wall. I mean, these people, their role, nobody is buying the fact that they are not part of the government. They are part of the government. That's why it's called democracy, for, of, and by the people. But one of their main, their main functions as the auditor general is safeguarding and exposing wasteful spending. So that is not witch hunting. If I'm doing anything right, I shouldn't be worried about what somebody is doing to find out if I'm doing something right or wrong. That is no witch hunting. There's no devil's advocate there. If you're doing something right, don't worry about what somebody else is looking forward to see if you're doing something wrong or right. There's no perfect institution, but these people, they have a role. The role that this Auditor General Office plays is very vital. And I hope people can go and even look at the constitution of the country and see the role of this office. It's vital. You cannot just abandon it like that or forcefully remove somebody who was doing his job, doing due diligence to find. We don't even need to go to the Auditor's General's office. Let me put that aside for 1 minute. Look at what is going on right now. How many commissions have been set up? There's nothing more corrupt than that itself. How many commissions have been set up to investigate corruptions and nothing has come out of it when they come with recommendations?
Okay, so Lamin, now why in your estimation, what do you think went wrong? An offer was given, ministerial appointment was given, according to Dr. Ceesay, he initially accepted it. And then Momodou Ceesay, the auditor, was interviewed on Monday to say that yes, he accepted it initially, but later changed his mind. So,
and that's a choice.
yeah, something is wrong somewhere. I mean, Lamin, what do you think?
You know, corruption is a very problematic toga, a very serious thing. And I think when you put people in charge of roles where they are to address the issue of corruption, I think it comes with a lot of challenges. But for me, in my own understanding and view, I think the wisdom for why Mr. Ceesay has been elevated to the role of minister does not necessarily mean that the president is trying to hide, or there's an issue or some corruption somewhere that the president is trying to sweep under the rug, and this is the reason for why he decided to move this man up. But what I can also tell you for certain is that I've been too close to the president to know that in such, if he decides to bring you into his inner circle, he takes that quite seriously. He personally conducts that. He calls you to, he invites you to his and speaks to you and tells you, this is what I want to give you. I want to make you minister. And in this instance, that is exactly what happened. Mr. Ceesay went to meet the president, and this thing, I am not entirely dismissing it. This narrative by the government that he accepted, I'm not entirely dismissing it. I mean, I know that he accepted the role. And then along the way, I mean, he talked to people. People, of course, he will also consult and confer with people. And then he changed his mind. But what would be dishonest? If I were him, a man of impeccable character, a man that has all the honesty in him, I would have told the Gambian people, I'm not going to lie to the Gambian people to say, okay, no, they gave me the offer, but he should first admit that he went to meet the president. That is number one. And number two, he should also admit that, well, he gave me this offer, I took it, but I changed my mind. There is nothing wrong with that.
But he did that. But he did that, Lamin.
He accepted. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he accepted.
He accepted, later changed his mind. But the state, we also, this is about a state. You cannot hold a state to ransom. Like, you are in one role, the president decides to elevate you, to move you to one role, and you accept it. Of course, the state is not going to wait for you to say, okay, we're going to wait for him. Tomorrow he's going to change his back. He's going to come and take the previous place, the previous role. They're going to put somebody in charge. And that is exactly what happened. For me, the issue of saying he is moving him to this new role because he don't want to investigate issues around his government, I don't think that would be a little bit too much for me. But at the end of the day, that is why the government also needs to be very serious in terms of how they handle issues. I mean, some of these issues can be, I mean, the whole day went to waste today. I mean, we could have used the day-to-day to build a country, but the whole day went to noise and rancor and you don't even know what is happening. So I think the government, and then it is a lesson that the government needs to learn, because certain roles are very, they're too complicated in terms of how a president can go about removing somebody from office. The president learned that in the Yakumba Jada case. I mean, and in this old instance, it mirrors what I would call what happened here today. Here in the United States, you have.
I was going to that. This is going to end up in the hands of the Supreme Court. So let me now jump in for more Thomas' take on that, because as we are almost about the denouement of this conversation, more Thomas, talk to us about the implications, like what next? Because now the standoff was so rough, he was forcibly removed. So what do you think Momodou Ceesay is going to go home with?
I mean, he's already had his team of attorneys, and they're taking this to court. So, and see where if justice will prevail over there. And what is in the courts, we cannot talk much about it, but he has already gathered today, and it was broadcast, his team of attorneys to represent him. Uh, and I look forward to seeing what's going to be the outcome of this. But to use just today's event to say that was wasteful, a standoff, nah, come on. I beg to differ, Mr. Njie. I mean, that was not even a big standoff. I mean, we have demonstrations happening every day. And we have government officials doing worse than that every day. That doesn't contribute to any other thing compared to what is happening on a day-to-day basis of the Gambia. Because I'm very much, I mean, aware of what is going on internally and externally when it comes to the government activities of the Gambia, even though I'm overseas. But that's what I went to college for, investigative reporting. This is no witch hunting. There's a big thing behind it. I don't want to spoil the issue of what we are talking about today. It's about the removal of Mr. Ceesay. But I know and I have facts. I don't speak just for speaking's sake. When I speak, I make sure I have stuff to back it up. There's a lot of corruption and there's a lot of money involving the president, his son, and other members of his staff that has been sent to this person's office as recent as last week. That is mind-boggling. And this all will come to light because we're not living in the Jammeh era anymore. Even if you try to sweep it under the carpet, somebody else, there will be a whistleblower who will blow it out. That's why I'm saying this is just more than, and it's a choice. If somebody offers you, like here, if I'm offered a job employment, I have 48 hours to accept the employment offer or not. I can say yes and reply and say, yes, I'm taking this offer and wait till the next day. I might get a different offer and be like, you know what? Or here's some stuff about that company. And with me knowing that, okay, my integrity, I cannot work for this company with the background that I've gained or gathered so far, I can decline to take that offer. It's a choice. Every Gambian has a choice to work or leave a government portfolio. It's a choice.
Okay. Lamin, what is your final take on the whole issue moving forward?
I think the president and his advisors needs to they need to be careful with some of these very complicated rules, both in terms of appointment, but also in terms of removing people from office. Because
I agree 100%.
Exactly. What is also happening is a lot of politics going on in our country. It's a lot of polarization in our country, and people use some of these things to for political benefit, right? So that is where the president needs to be smart in terms of the choices that he is going to make, because at the end of the day, I think this is not a good look at all. This made its way to the BBC. Folks got arrested, and it's now in the international media. So, and that's not good for our democracy. This is all that we all wanted. I mean, for me, I sit in my corner, I see what is happening in our country. It's beautiful. This is what we all fought for. We wanted the environment where everybody can vent, where we all have a beautiful country where everybody has the freedom to express themselves, to give their opinions and views, but also to build a country. Not just that, to stop or to end some of these things that have been happening. We've seen where when the former government was in power, we've seen what happened. Corruption, it's a lot of mess it left with, and we're trying to clean all of that off. We want an upright government, a government that is up to task in terms of dealing with the issues. Corruption is one big issue that I know exists, and I think the government needs to take charge, because I have been saying this to a lot of the president's advisors. If that is one issue that can quickly bring a government down, is corruption.
100%.
Thank you very much. Modou, what are your parting shots?
I totally agree with what Mr. Njie said.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for this perspective conversation on the issues the hot issues emerging from the Gambia about the possible removal of the Auditor General by police officers on Monday morning. Thank you so much. We hope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
About it.